Welcome, Nola. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here.
Beautiful. So we are having a chat to Nola today because Nola will be one of our stall holders at the very first event of the Women's Empowerment Events and Festival. So the first one is on the 16th of June. We are at Southport Community Centre. So thank you very much for having a chat to me today and sharing your gold of what you do with us on the day. But first of all, I like to always ask, what drew you into the WEFest concept?
I currently and have been lately just following my instinct with a few things, and I have been a few friends and people that I've been working with have guided me to just, instead of overthinking things, just see what comes up and see how I feel about things. And this came across Facebook for me, and I just went, okay, yep. That's something. I put it off for a couple of days, but then it kept popping up in front of me, and I'm like, okay, I've got to do this. So yeah, it's been a real not a test, but a real acknowledgement for me to say I just need to follow what I'm drawn to. So I was very much drawn to this, and so far it's just been amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we all met up yesterday
Yeah.
with all the facilitators, and that was very cool. Like,
Yeah, it was pretty powerful actually. I pretty much had tingles the whole time.
I know.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
That women getting together, we had a small group compared to what we're going to have at the event, obviously, but that is what I'm here for. That connection, those conversations, the deep emotions that naturally come out, and how everyone just holds space just
Yeah.
by us meeting and getting to know one another and talking about what we're going to facilitate on the day. Like, what a cool experience, hey?
Yeah, it was pretty powerful. I especially loved the fact that, I knew a few of the ladies there, but, not like we don't meet up all the time. I just know them. But just people that we didn't even know. It was like there was a connection and we just met. Yeah, it's pretty magical when women get together, what they can do.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
exactly what we're creating with these women's events, just on a bigger scale. So imagine the goosebumps we're all going to have on the
Yeah.
day of feeling that energy, but knowing we're a part of something bigger. Like, this is the beginning of who knows what we're creating here on the Gold Coast, who knows what we're being drawn to create and how we're being drawn to show up. As organizing the first event, facilitating at the first event, and what really evolves from here. We're
Yeah.
being called, like you said, I think that's a really beautiful indication that I felt called to be a part of this
Yeah.
and bringing it to life. And now the facilitators are being called, the attendees are feeling called. It's that intuitive yearning that pulls us into action now. That is what I love. So I love that
Yeah.
you've shared that, because when we can get out of our head or out of our own way or out of our should do, could do, have to do's,
Yeah.
we can actually have some really beautiful connections. So I
Yeah.
love,
I think as women, we tend to get in routines and we have this life, and we put everything else aside, including our gut instinct, intuition that tells us what we need to do or what we're drawn to. We tend to, people say that we lose our identity. I don't know that it's an identity. You lose your connection with yourself, really, is what I think
totally.
is happened. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And we're on a journey back to ourselves, every
Yep.
single one of us these days. Yeah. And
Definitely.
we just get to play the part of that piece of the event to actually attract the women that are going through a journey that they might not be understanding yet. They might not understand why they're not happy or why they have the health concerns that they do.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of that seeking and searching where they're just not getting the help or the answers, or they don't have the support. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. If I look back on my journey, I would have. There was places where I had no idea what was going on, and I look back now and I just think that it was it wasn't easy, but it's been an amazing journey. I'm still going. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's really cool, and I just am really passionate about allowing other women space and sharing what I know or what I've experienced to whoever it resonates with, to bring them along on the ride, because it's yeah, it's a very worthwhile journey, that's for sure.
Totally, totally. So we're not giving away too much in these interviews, but can you give a little taste test of what you're delivering or how you're serving or supporting the women on the day, on the 16th of June?
Well, I have a few ideas, so it's not concrete yet, but I am a meditation teacher and a holistic counselor, but I like to look at meditation as a way, as stress management and a way to really help your body to be well. So not that I don't look at it from a spiritual side, but I think on a very basic level, it's really about creating health within yourself. So there may be a few guided little meditations or relaxations in there, but I also will be helping people to come to an understanding how toxic load in their life has a big impact on their health. And health, I know we discussed this yesterday, but health is, for me, looking back, a foundation of, it's really where my journey started once I swapped a lot of things out and really started looking at how I want to my body to be well. So yeah, so hopefully one-on-ones or just do some chatting with people, or just giving them some guidance on where they can start with that sort of thing and how important it is. Yeah.
Beautiful. And that's, for me, yesterday when you shared that with me, you grounded us in terms of this is what we're here for. No matter where we're at on the journey, we all need basics. We all need to simplify. We all need to come back to just the raw simplicity of ourselves, what we can provide for ourselves, but just some different support networks and different either tools and techniques or other ways that we can be helping ourselves. And for this event, it's around our health and well-being. So what, I guess, for yourself at that start and that point of your journey, what were those really defining moments or support networks or even tools and techniques that you came across that you are still using today?
Okay, so the thing that sparked off, I have a very long journey, but the thing that started this whole turnaround for me was in 2012. My current partner had been diagnosed with cancer. So for us, we had and this happens for most people, I must say, there was a crisis, of course. So then we start to look at, okay, so what may have caused it, or not even looking back at that, but thinking, okay, so what can we do moving forward? What can we do for ourselves? Not just, I'm not anti-medicine, but not just looking at what others can do for us, but what can we do? How can we be empowered to have a positive effect on our health moving forward? And that went for me too, because it's one to be the person that's diagnosed, I suppose, but I felt like, the journey was mine as well. It wasn't an easy journey. So at that point, that's when I started doing my learning to do meditation. And so when I did that, part of when I learned to do it was I had to do relaxation every day, a guided relaxation every morning and every night, and had to do it for like 3 months straight. And that's something I'd never committed to do before. And just the difference in my stress level, just doing that one simple thing every morning and every night, was just ridiculously amazing. And then, of course, we went down the road of looking at what we eat, what we put on our skin. It goes a lot further, obviously, about how you talk and your mindset, but the basics for us was, what's in our home? Do we use scented candles? Do we use perfume? The very basics that a lot of people use all the time, but they have no idea about the potential impact that can have long term on your health. So, and we live by that now, and we're still making changes as we go. But yeah, we're pretty. People would say strict, but I just say we just support ourselves to be well, as clean as we potentially can, and that's what I really want to help people to understand. And it's not an overnight process; it's an ongoing process. But you need to start somewhere, and it's important to start now, because this kind of toxic, the chemicals and things that we have in our environment, it doesn't have an impact instantly. It's over time. So it's definitely something that we do in our household. And unbeknownst to me, but lately my children have said and done things, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they're listening and they're learning. And yeah, I think it's a really powerful, as parents as well, it's a really powerful thing that you can give your children, to be mindful enough to try to look for things themselves, try to work things out and support themselves along the way. So yeah, that's something that we do all the time.
Amazing.
And are constantly looking at new things, but there's, those fundamental things definitely that we are very mindful of.
And that's it. It's those particulars that we don't think anything of. Still, to change our food and the products we use and what we put on our skin, everything like that. I feel that it's such a natural part that we go through a whole life detox. When we have our breakdown, when we have our spiritual awakening, when we have that moment in our life where everything shifts, you look around and go, oh my God, look at all the stuff that I'm using that I don't know what's in it. Or you look at it and think, oh, when you start to research and you start to learn, you start to see all of the stuff that is in everything that we don't even think twice about. We've got so much stuff in our lives that we're just completely consumed by all of that external. When we can start switching that over or finding something that can be more healthy for us, you change that for your life, for your family, that's a huge ripple effect in itself. And that tends to be the start of our journey. Whatever led us there is so much to it. So we really do need that kind of support to even begin.
I think we tend to, as a society, give our health and our choices about our health over to others. Like we give away our power. We do that with a lot of other things too, but on a basic level, we give away our power of our health, where our body really does know how to look after itself. Sometimes it needs just a little bit of help, but it really does know how to be well. It's the most amazing, it's not a machine, but it's the most amazing thing. Like, it's just, until you start exploring, you don't really realize how amazing our bodies really are and what their full potential is. And it's like, to me, it was like an awakening to really understand and see how much unwittingly we abuse our body, our vehicle. So yeah, and
that in itself can also lead us to guilt, shame, depression, because then we start to see, and the awareness makes us go, oh God, what am I doing? Look what I'm doing to my body. I didn't have any idea. Then all of those layers start to come up as well. That's when we need the support, because we can have that awareness and it can be empowering. And we can have support around us, knowing that other people are going through similar. That can be empowering for us to make changes. But otherwise, it can be consuming, it can be shocking, and that sends people down into a spiral that can be even worse than their breakdown. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really important, if you can, to have somebody that can guide you through the process in a way that suits you, because everybody is different, and everybody's body is different. So I can't just say, okay, here's a list, I want you to replace all these things and you've got 30 days. Like that, for some people, that's just not possible to do that. Others would do it easy, but everybody's going to respond differently. Everyone has emotional things attached to that are different. So yeah, I definitely agree that it's, if you've got someone at least that you can talk to, or someone that can work with you to guide you on those things. They may seem simple, but sometimes if you have a lot of toxins in your life, it can really affect you emotionally as well. So then you need support with that as well. But but it's not one of those things. I think I try to encourage people to understand that it's not. Don't be overwhelmed by the process. It's one step at a time. Every step forward is a positive step forward. And the biggest step forward is acknowledging that there is potentially an issue or an area of concern, and that you want to do something about it. If you can do that, that's the biggest step. That's the biggest step. And then just take one day at a time and take a step forward when you can, and do what you can. You can only sort of do what you can do. Sometimes there's budgetary restraints, or something to do with, you can't change something else, but you do what you can do. Well, every little bit makes a big impact. People, I think, get a bit overwhelmed and can underestimate the impact that even changing a few things can do for their health.
Exactly. And this is why we're creating this online community as well, because there'll be people out there talking to you, seeing what we're doing here for the women's empowerment events. If they can't come to the events, they can still reach out and connect to you, the facilitators. We've got our own Facebook group that reaches the community, because essentially we want to be walking side by side one another, because everyone is going to be at different parts of their journey, and we can't facilitate all of that in a one-day event. So we've got this online component so everyone can actually have an insight into what's Noela all about. Why does she believe this way? Why does she live like this? Why does she actually believe that this will help, blah, blah, blah? We need to actually know that backstory, because then we can see the heart. Then we can see the realness, really. And that's how we actually connect to go, okay, I'm exactly where Noela was, and she looks like she knows exactly what she's doing now. She really could help and support me. So we've got that online component that if women feel the need to reach out to you or have some type of communication, are you happy for them to connect with you online as well?
Yeah, I actually really love working one-on-one with people and having that connection with people. I think it's a really powerful thing, and especially women. Women like to feel supported and heard. And there's something to be said about women working with each other. And it's not like, for me, I feel like more of a guide or an information provider, and the choice is totally up to you. I'm really all about giving people and inspiring people to learn and make choices for themselves. I don't want them to come to me as the expert and go, okay, well, you give me the solution and that will fix me. I really want to inspire them to maybe use some tools that I can offer or some information that I can offer to then make the changes for themselves.
Beautiful.
Because it's you need to be empowered. I'm all about empowering people, which is what this is all about, rather than, come to me and I'll fix you. I don't think that's the answer at all. I think it needs to be a supported journey by other women that have either been through the same or moving through the same. I'm still on the journey. I'm probably just a few steps ahead of other people. So just like with the discussion yesterday, I could see that there was a couple of other women that I thought, maybe I'm just a couple of steps ahead, which I never thought I would say, which is great. It makes me feel good about myself, but that, and they're a couple of steps ahead of somebody else. So I just think it's really good to find someone, as you were saying, that you resonate with and that can help to guide you along the way.
Definitely. And I love the point you've made about no one is here to tell anyone what to do. We've lived in a world that all we've ever been done and shown is told what to do. We grow up with our parents, then we go to school and our teachers, then we have the first job, and all we've ever done is have no power, no decision making, no ability to even make a decision based on what feels right for us. So that in itself is what we're actually learning in a myriad of ways with all the layers that we're going through. So I love that you've really made a point of that, because that to me is true self-empowerment. As a business owner, service provider, healer, coach, whatever we all call ourselves, we're not here to take the power away even more so. We're not even here to necessarily enable. We're here to support, and that is to hold space. Sometimes it's just to listen. Sometimes it's to offer some guidance, and it's up to the women and the clients that we have to take what they need. But to me, it's really up to us to show them their power, show them how to reclaim, making decisions for themselves, following their intuition. That to me is what I get so passionate about, self-empowerment and soulpreneurs and us being of service, and really the heart-centered women that are coming through in the entrepreneurial world these days. We have to follow our heart. It doesn't actually work anyway. We're going up against the masculine world of business, of how to do things. We're like, that doesn't work for us. We have to follow our heart. So we have to, instill that in our clients, which that ripple effect is now what really is going to shift the world. This is to have that honor of yourself, to feel like, oh, actually, I am getting somewhere. I have learned a thing or two, and I can see where other people are at on their journey. That's empowering. We're not doing any hierarchy like you would in a job. We're just actually honoring where we're at in our journey and how we can guide people back to themselves. That is what I love.
Yeah. And I think one of my most favorite quotes, I suppose, and I don't even know who wrote it, is that, and I post it often in my group, but it's if you listen to the whispers of your body, then you don't need to hear her scream. So, and people would look at, will go, I love this quote. And it's so true that if you often in life, and sometimes, like I said, you get to the point where you're diagnosed with something, and that's the screaming to me. Like, your body is always sending you signs and signals. It can be, feeling exhausted, and we just push through it. And sometimes, we're not always able to take the day off and do nothing, but our body is continually communicating to us. It's a very, we have to look at ourselves as a whole being, not just a body with blood pumping around. It's like we have a spirit, we have a, however you want to look at it, soul, energy, all of that together. And you really need to slow down and listen. And slow doesn't mean do nothing, but you need to listen and be aware. And awareness is a huge tool, especially, as a woman, because we try to do 6 things at once, especially if we've got kids or we've got a job and other things that plays on our time, and we think that is our life. And I think we tend to see ourselves as that. We put ourselves in that basket of that's what we are, whereas we're actually not. We're a special, amazing human by ourselves, capable of such great things, like change the world. Women can change the world. And I'm a big believer that that's what my purpose is. It's not plain and how I'm going to get there, but I know that's what it is. And I just want to help other women from the most basic level, because I know that's where I started. And you made a great point yesterday. I was so worried about thinking, well, it's so basic, but we have to start somewhere. And there's so many people out there that I see all the time on Facebook and that, I'm sick again. And I'm just like, I really have the answer, because I've learned. I have the answer for you. Are you willing to hear it? Because not everybody is always in the place to hear it too. So I think, as you said before, if this resonates with you, whether it's me or one of the other facilitators, just do it. Just come along. Like, it's really an important thing. You have to listen to yourself and to what's being shown to you.
Exactly. And that's the shift. As far as I'm concerned, it is literally following your gut instincts 100% of the time. And this goes against everything we've ever done and how we've operated. So it's kind of a big deal. And we're coming up against that in every moment of every day, which also means we have a choice in every moment of every day to start taking those different steps. And that's what we just want to support women, because we know how hard it is. And another point that I love that you made is our self-empowerment journey, why we do what we do, why we want to help other women, is because we've been through it. So we've done our own journey. We haven't been taught anything or told anything necessarily. We've pulled all of these pieces of our own personal journey of what felt right, what didn't. Shift that, change that, try this. We've done all the trial and error. That was part of our purpose. Some women don't need that. Some women will just be able to come to us and say, let's just get this work done. Do not need to take years and years and years. But for us, we needed to do this very personally. Now we have all of that sense of community that we're just here on the sidelines, just so you know that if you need anything, we're here. If you need to reach out, someone to hold your hand or hug or cry, that's all you actually ever need. When we know we're not the only one going through a stress or a problem, that relaxes us. Then there's somebody there for us. If we just feel like we can't do it on our own, perfect. Then we just get into work. Then we just go, okay, this is what I need to do for myself, and we get into action. But we do really need those things underneath and around us, and this is what we don't know at the very beginning of the journey. Yeah.
Well, I did a lot of my growth in early on self stuff all by myself, so I had no idea what I was doing. And I think the thing, I got stuck because I think as women too, and society tells us you need to have a certificate that says you can do this, or a certificate that you've done this, or you've succeeded at this. So I was one up until a couple of years ago that were like, well, and I know it got mentioned yesterday, what do I have to offer people? But like, so much. I've learnt so much. I mean, I have a certificate that says I know this, but I know it, and I've learnt so much, and it's valuable to people. You've just got to find the people that, as we've said before, that resonate with you, and feel that that's something that you want to listen to or want to hear more about, and holding space or just listening. The amount of times that I've just listened to people or had a conversation, and then in the conversation, I don't like the word counselling, so I don't use it very often, but in the conversation, I'll just throw the same thing that they've said to me back, but in a different way. And I'll go, oh, that's probably that. And I'm like, oh, look, you just solved your own question. You know, you just said it for yourself. You know, you work it out for yourself. You just need that support, that safe place to talk about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's sounding board. Exactly. We can't do everything on our own. We definitely can't do it up in our heads. This thing is full. You know, that's when we can just get these words out and someone can hear and pull the pieces out that reflect what needs back. Solution solved. Like it is quite enormous of what we can shift. The greatest problems with that conversation, that expression, that ability to bring up emotions and have someone hear you, see you, and understand you, and then supportively reflect back on either with questions. That's empowering in itself.
Yeah.
You shift the most amazing major thing in that moment. And we all have our own answers within, but when we're talking, or when we're in our head, or when we're emotional, we can't see or feel that. That's too much for one person. This is why we need each other.
Yeah.
Beautiful points. Beautiful points. Well, thank you very much for chatting with me today.
No problem. I'm super excited.
I know. It's only a couple of weeks. So we'll add all your links. So if the ladies are like, oh, I need to talk to Noela, I want to know what she's about, or I'll definitely come and see her at the event itself. We'll make sure everyone has the ability to contact you. And otherwise, they can just pop on in at the event on the 16th of June. There are still the VIP tickets for all 3 events and a festival at the moment available. So we'll make sure everyone has those links so they can be on the whole journey with us. So hand in hand, just to see what amazing world we can create for ourselves and one another together.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I look forward to seeing where I'm at.
I know.
Time. Like the shift for me is going to be huge. So I'm really looking forward to that.
To me, that's for all of us. That 2nd of February, the festival, the welcoming, that is the moment where we all just stand there and reflect of, oh my God, look where we've come. Look what we've moved through. Look at the amazing people we've met. We can't anticipate that at this stage, but that to me is a very key vision, that we're all on this journey to stand there and then really soak that in with the festival. So fun. I'll talk to you very soon, and we'll see everybody at Southport Community Centre on the 16th of June. And thank you again, Noela. We'll see you then.
No worries. Look forward to seeing you all there.
See ya.